Okay, I'm Kendrick Mann, and I'm here with the Facebook group Make a Stand in the Community. I'm sitting here with Crystal White, who was running for school board. Would you like to tell us about a bit about yourself?
Oh, yes, thank you. I'm running for my second term. I initially decided to run based on volunteering in the classroom. My son at that time was in the first grade. And then the principal, we built a report sheet, invited me to a PBIS meeting. And then after that, then it was LCAP. So I was able to engage with quite a few parents in the community. And then a special education advocate asked if I was interested in running. So I thought about it, and I do have a master's degree in education. So I am very passionate about education.
What district is this again?
District 3.
District 3. I want to be sure.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Moving on to my questions. My first question for you today is if a parent approached you with a special education concern and stated that he or she felt that this was a systematic problem, what would you do?
Yes, parents do reach out to me. They are the constituents normally. So I take notes, and I started 4 years ago a actual file of parents' concerns. And I am a parent of a son with special needs as well, so I can empathize with the situation. First step is to notify the superintendent, and then and just reassure the parents that we're behind them. If it, based on my experience, to be honest with you, to alleviate major lawsuits, we schedule an emergency closed session to discuss what actually the incident that happened. And I think we should address professional development trainings for special education teachers. It seems to be that some are still not aware, the vast majority are on the spectrum. And you have to be able to understand the differentiation practices teaching kids with special needs.
So, bring to my next question would be: would when you have learned that some district personnel are in non-compliance with IDEA, which is a federal law, how would you like to see it handled? What are some ideas you have to prevent issues from becoming systematic?
Yeah, so once again, my experience, I have had some closed sessions regarding lawsuits. I think, once again, I would require a presentation, hopefully in the new school year and this school year due to distant learning. What are the teaching practices? Just recently, I requested actual presentation of the actual lessons that are going to be conducted virtually. And so that parents are aware, what are they are incorporating YouTube videos. They have iReady, Echo software programs, actual scheduling one-on-one with the student, get to know the parents, and webinars.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about special education when it came to virtual learning. That's a
Yes,
great
they can disengage rapidly.
exactly. So the
Yes.
next question is: besides attending a school board meeting, what can or will you do as a BOE director to hear parent concern?
Yes, so I initially, the first year that I was elected, believe it or not, the incumbents were not forthcoming with in regards to professional development. So the California School Board Association offers master governance training. And so I think that should be required before you are elected board president to make these decisions. So I would schedule also a town hall so that the parents can share their concerns once again, and it's just a public forum. And then also a schedule, it would be another probably emergency board meeting to address a special maybe presentation, PowerPoint presentation to, so one example could be that we scheduled an emergency board meeting once Jonathan Parker was murdered after the basketball game, and the parents came out in vast numbers to express their concern. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to speak.
Yeah, that's a very good thing. I'm very open for town halls and discussion,
Yes.
especially when it involves community members like myself. How do you feel about reopening schools during COVID, social distance learning, or at home learning?
Yeah, I've mentioned I am not in favor of reopening schools. the recent reopening plan was two scenarios. One would be hybrid, so 2 days in classroom, 3 days out, which doesn't make any sense to me. I'm
Yeah.
concerned about tracing and tracking. So, for instance, some employers require the COVID testing if you work in mental health awareness. And I think the teachers should be tested. What's happening in Georgia is unacceptable. Florida is unacceptable. And it's just that you point one child, just like a petri dish, comes down with the virus. Then what are the protocols to call the parent? Which we're still working on that. So no, I don't think at this time I'm on board with distance learning.
I feel the same way. I don't think our kids should be guinea pigs.
Yes, right.
Right. So the next question I have for you is, what is the status of the student academic achievement in your district?
Okay, so currently it's been public record. We have an education chair from the NAACP, Mr. Mims, who has announced African American students are not achieving academically. So my concerns is that we no longer require the high school graduation exit exam. And I am concerned, even though more students are graduating, are they prepared once they are a freshman enrolled in a university? So the good thing is we do have other programs, which is going to be in line, which you addressed here. We have the Law Academy at Deer Valley. We have the Dozer Libby addressing the medical profession, and business tech at Deer Valley. So those have been successful. And once a year, the city works collaboratively with Superintendent Mello to offer the career college career readiness seminar that's across the street from my house.
Kind of an added question, but when was the exit exam removed from the curriculum?
It's been, I think, about 2 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I remember having to pass that in 07,
Right.
so I was like,
Okay.
Yeah. What are the educational strengths in your district?
So again, once again, the program, my daughter graduated in 2007, so this is my second child in the district. So reason why we moved to Antioch because of Deer Valley High School was brand new at that time. And she was a part of the, I think it was the Law and Justice program. So they're able to work as far as career, work with other businesses in the community. Mm-hmm. So one example that I learned at the California School Board Association is if we work with the city, address youth jobs, like New York City, they had a speaker, he addressed why can't the Pizza Parlor Roundtable partner up with AUSD, and then we post the honor roll students on the wall so that it inspires them to work there and achieve academically in a successful manner.
That's actually really a good program. I've never even thought about something like that.
Yes.
What do you see as the board's roles and responsibilities?
Yeah, so our role is to govern. The superintendent works for us, and so the goal is to focus on the mission. Right now, we're career and college readiness, and I was not supported like 2 years ago, once again, to change that particular mission statement. We need to address critical thinking. We need to address coding. There are two nonprofits. One is the Latina Girls Code and the Black Girls Code. They're in Oakland, and we have programs like that, but it's not a rigorous program. To the point, it's an actual career that you can once you graduate. It's not necessarily you have to graduate from college. Another example was to go back to the old school. What happened to the auto mechanics? Nowadays we have hybrid cars. I had a horrible experience with my car that they actually could not fix it. They had to ship it to another General Motors or another manufacturer. So certification and auto mechanics for hybrids. I worked at Job Corps as academic manager. We had a contract with Tesla, but electrical. And these are high school graduates. So they end up working at Tesla in the end.
Yeah, I'm a tradesman myself, so it took me so long to find out what I wanted to do after high school that I went through the community college and it wasn't my thing. And then eventually it took me till I was 28 to find a trade. So that I like your idea with that for sure.
Thank you.
What is your vision of for education in the community? How does it support the economy and quality of life in the common community?
Right. So I remember I was raised in Detroit, Michigan, and it was more of a sense. I actually worked a summer job as a file clerk in the unemployment department, and I was able to meet people who were struggling on food stamps and so forth. So some ideas are like there's a charter school in New York City, which public schools can actually take on this mission. When we actually have a career center for the parents, it should be welcoming to come into the district to volunteer and hire parents to be campus monitors, where we wouldn't need all this policing. And so I worked at Fairfield Unified, and there was a fight that broke out, and I was not aware the student's mom was the campus monitor. And so she came up to him, told him that's unacceptable, and then we end up having a great rapport with the mom, the campus monitors. And so the idea is that we have a high, vast, obviously, unemployment rate in California and nationwide. So we would address in the Career Center for parents to come in, let them view a job bulletin board when we're all safe and they can come on campus. And the next thing, it was a national board certification program for teachers. So if you receive that certification, that was not agendized again. We have the teacher of the year. She would receive a stipend to incentivize her to remain in the district. And so that's something that I want to put on the agenda again, hopefully before November. So we also should motivate our students to be teachers and come back and teach. Pittsburgh has a $5,000 bonus. I don't understand why we can't offer that as well.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion.
Thank you.
How will you engage the community to improve public schools in the district?
Yes, so that's the problem. It doesn't seem very welcoming for the parents to come volunteer in the classroom. That should be, and so maybe there are some parents who want to be substitute teachers. We do waive that temporary permit for the teaching credential. It seems like that is not offer job fairs. I've attended job fairs in Sonoma Valley, Fairfield on Saturdays. That way the parents can come in, get to know who actually is hiring in that particular district, and work with the city. I really think I've seen there's research grants where we can offer after school programs like chess clubs that ignites the critical thinking. It's not all about homework help, it's about a community at large bonding together. So after school programs, I'm still mentioning boys and girls clubs. I don't understand why we don't have a YMCA out here. We don't have lots of fitness centers, but no YMCA clubs.
No youth programs to speak with, to think about it. Like it's more focused towards adults in Antioch, I've noticed.
Right, just the community center.
Exactly. So the next one I got for you is how can the school board be more accountable to the public on student achievement, school performance, and progress over time?
Okay, well, before shelter in place, I attended the African American Parent Council. So I don't know if what's going to happen with that. That was great. The parents were able to sit down, get to know one another. I researched we should hire a director of LCAP or some type of coordinator for our local control accountability plan, because it addressed certain subgroups that are not succeeding. They might have issues as homelessness. Our population has increased for that. Then it will address the Latinx students, the African American students, and students who are struggling academically. We need to provide a matrix that's transparent on the website, just like the California dashboard, so that the parents will know actually where kids are succeeding and failing in certain areas.
Yeah, I would agree. The last question I have for you today is, what is your view on merit pay for teachers? Do you believe in using incentives to attract highly effective teachers or teachers in shortage fields such as math and science? You did touch on this on a different answer, so elaborate a little bit more for us.
Right. So the norm is to receive your teaching credential in a single subject or multiple subject. So the national board certification would take it to another level. And I spoke to this particular director of the program when I attended the Teacher of the Year banquet, and they address differentiation practices that address actual lesson plan that's relatable to the students. So, like for instance, so not just Hispanic Heritage Month or what have you. You would address Cesar Chavez, the history of the protests, and the farmers who actually pick our fruit and vegetables for low wages, and something that's relatable to students who actually live in California. And so, yes, the merit would be incentive to professional development. Let our teachers actually tour other school sites to see what is effective and what isn't effective. It seems like we stay in our little bubble here in Antioch, and we're not open to attending conferences. And it should be required, just as for master governance training, to, if you're going to be elected the president of the board overseeing 11,000 students, it should be required for teachers to in professional development, implicit bias programs, and institutional racism.
Yeah, it should be a comparison from schools too, like you were saying, that they should go to visit other schools and see how they're dealing with these issues as well. That was the last question I had for you today. Is there anything that you want to close with or plug?
Okay, sure, thank you. So I just appreciate having me on here, and I'm very involved in the community. I really love Antioch, and I hope I have the opportunity to serve my constituents once again. I have strength and experience. I think that's crucial. If I'm not reelected, I've been mentoring with Ellie. We've been partying. It's been really great as far as preparing for these very stressful board meetings. So we need that 3-2 vote, and thank you for your time.
Thank you for joining me today, and I wish you good luck in District 3 school board.